What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And by the title, you can tell that this is going to be a very interesting video because right at the end of official pre-draft visits, the New England Patriots, one of their final, and I actually believe the final player that they're bringing in for a visit is quarterback Will Levis, a projected first-round pick. Now, I just want to start off by saying, hey, just because they're meeting with him doesn't mean anything. But the fact that this is the only first round quarterback really that they're meeting with, I think it does go to say something. More specifically, it goes to say there is at least a level of interest, especially because there's been a lot of talk as of late about Will Levis dropping. Right? The New England Patriots, if they were just strictly doing due diligence, I think, on Will Levis, just because, hey, they play the Raiders, they might have to face him, or another team, maybe like the Titans get him, Patriots might have to face him. Do your due diligence on him early on. I think that's why they actually met with Anthony Richardson. Now, he is also a projected first-round pick. I've heard some people say he can go in the second. So if you want to consider him in the first round, which, I mean, I guess I probably would too, he's somebody that they also met with, but they met with him very early on in the process. So it's interesting that they met with Will Levis here right at the end. So we're going to hop in with all the details. We're going to talk about Will Levis. Do I think that this is realistic for the Patriots? What does he bring if the Patriots were to draft him? We are going to break everything down. But before we do that, let's roll that Patriots Global intro. Now, Will Levis, man, let me tell you, the name of the game for this prospect is make it or break it. High ceiling, or excuse me, high risk, high reward. That is the exact way that I would go about explaining Will Levis to somebody in one sentence that does not understand exactly who he is. Now, Will Levis early on was a projected like easy top 8 pick. Now there's a lot of discussion about, is he a first round pick or is he going to drop into the second? Me personally, I don't think Will Levis is a first round quarterback. And if he is, I think he's more back end first round rather than top 10, which a lot of teams have him going. But again, positional value, it's a real thing. Quarterback position is the biggest positional value that teams are going to reach for, whether it's a high risk move or not. And that's the exact situation with Will Levis, the player that I compared this situation to. And when I break him down, I think you'll see the same thing I'm seeing, is Josh Allen. And Josh Allen has worked a lot on his mechanics. He made a big turnaround in his first few years that a lot of quarterbacks don't. The first 2-3 years of his career, he looked like he was going to be a bust for the Buffalo Bills. And I think as Patriots fans, we wish that he was a bust for the Buffalo Bills, but he turned it around. And these mechanics are very similar between Josh Allen and Will Levis. I think that whoever does draft Will Levis, you're getting a very comparable player to Josh Allen. But just like Josh Allen, he's either going to come in the league and set everything on fire, he'll be a top 5 quarterback at some point, or he's just going to absolutely fail out and whoever selects him will get rid of him within a couple of years. So let's hop into his profile. So biggest thing here is this guy's big. He has a big frame. He has a great size for an NFL quarterback. And he's also mobile. And that's one of the things I just want to first off by throwing out there. I'm going to get into it a little bit. But he's mobile. And a quarterback that's 6'4", 229 pounds, that's mobile, is a wrecking ball. Okay. It's hard to bring those types of guys down, especially when you have speed to you also. So one of the best things about Will Levis is going to be that frame. Now, another thing that you're going to love a lot about him is that arm. This guy has crazy arm strength. He has a cannon arm, and he has a high velocity throw that he can whip into tight windows very easily. That makes him absolutely deadly in the pass game. This is the type of guy that just standing can throw a 50-yard bomb. Very dangerous. The problem comes down with two things. two things that I think are the reasons he won't be a Patriot and doesn't make sense to be a Patriot. One of them being decision-making. Very bad decision-making. That's one of the biggest cons to Will Levis's game. He doesn't know where to put the football. He doesn't know placement all that well. I would give him, like, if I'm rating this out of 10, like a 6 out of 10 in terms of ball placement. But on top of bad decision making, he has bad accuracy. This guy is like the opposite of Mac Jones. And I'm sure some of you will hear that and go, oh, well, he's going to be a great quarterback. Let's bring him along. For all you Mac haters, anyone that's about to say that, I'm not going to get into that discussion right now. I've said it way too many times. But what the Patriots really like in their quarterbacks is the ability to have a high football IQ, process quickly, be able to make good decisions, and have good accuracy. They never cared really about mobility, and they never cared about how far you could throw the ball. They never really cared about arm strength, because despite what they might say about arm strength heading into the draft process, you can work on it. We've seen several quarterbacks work on their arm strength who, coming out of the draft process, weren't great in terms of arm strength, but throughout their career got a whole lot better. So again, poor decision-making can only teach that to an extent. And accuracy, you can also only teach to a certain extent. Those are hard things to really coach upon. And again, he just seems like the exact opposite in terms of qualities that the Patriots look for in quarterbacks since they've drafted. I mean, between Mac Jones, Tom Brady, Bailey Zappi, all those guys, good ball placement, good accuracy, able to make smart decisions. And then another thing that I look at with Will Levis is that he's coming out of Kentucky. It's not a big school. The Patriots, when drafting quarterbacks, seems to be one of those positions where they like to go with QBs from high colleges. Now, sometimes you'll reach like the third or fourth round, whatever, and they'll take a chance on a guy from a smaller school. But a lot of times it seems like they like to genuinely take guys from higher schools. Obviously, Brady from Michigan. You had Mac Jones coming from Alabama. It's one of those positions they like to take a quarterback from a high-end school, because when they make that transition from the collegiate level to the NFL, it's not going to be as hard in terms of the talent that you're going up against. And obviously, again, Will Levis coming out of Kentucky, he's going to have to make that adjustment to high-end talent. And with bad ball placement and bad decision-making, it just seems like a recipe for disaster. But I do like his pocket mobility. I think that he's really good in the pocket, something that Mac Jones does lack. He's able to extend plays because of it. Like I said, really good mobility. Doesn't have great mechanics. Doesn't have great processing, like I said. Arm talent is absolutely absurd. Like, he easily has one of the best arm talents in this entire class. In terms of how far he can throw a ball in arm strength. He's pretty good at throwing on the move also. I think he's going to be deadly just in terms of him being able to extend plays, being able to escape pressure, pick up yardage with his feet, being able to go out wide and extend plays, and being able to throw on the run, I think is super deadly. If those other sides can be coached out. He's also a very confident quarterback. He hears everything going on about him, and it's not diminishing him by any means. And to play quarterback, you definitely got to be confident. You can't let those interceptions get in the way of you, or your bad decision making get in the way of you. And he definitely does not do that. A lot of upside here, but there's a lot of risk also that comes with him. He really only had one good year at college throughout his 3-year tenure, and that was in 2021. He put up an overall grade of 90.6. This past year, though, 68.6. 2020, 66.4. This past year, played in a total of 11 games, had a 65% completion percentage for 2,416 yards, playing in 11 games, averaging 8.4 yards per reception, 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. That is almost a 1-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio. Not good. And a passer rating of 99.1. He's never put up a passer rating throughout his entire collegiate career of 100 overall. This past year, his passing overall grade was 65.8. His intermediate grade was 67.4. His deep grade was 70. His no pressure grade was 71.7. And his pressure grade was 54.1. The only grade that is average or above average was his pressure grade. Every other grade was well below average, and I think that there's genuine room for concern there. Let me click on this if it lets me. Um, Very good under pressure. That's one thing that I will give him. I think it's just because of his confidence, his mobility around the pocket, and his cannon arm. Very good when it comes to being under pressure. Very good in tight pockets. And I think that's something that will transition well for him in the NFL is that you got to know the difference between the collegiate level to the NFL level of being open. One step is considered wide open in the NFL versus college. So that's something that I think will bode well for him because of how well he's able to fit into tight coverages. Um, his release isn't very good. Like I said, bad ball placement. Um, he also has bad, like I said, mechanics, just in terms of his feet when he's doing his dropbacks. I think that's going to throw off a lot of his other mechanics. You can coach that part out, but like I said, there's some other things that just can't be coached out. Overall, here for me, when it comes to Will Levis, if he drops to the second round and the Patriots would like want to select him, then I wouldn't be totally against it. But at this point, we have much bigger needs. Build around Mac Jones, the offensive line, grab one of these tight ends, build on defense. That's what's going to make you relevant right now. We're not at a position where we can just draft for a guy hoping he's going to turn into something. And I think if you do take Will Levis, whether that's the first or second round, you're pretty much saying we don't believe in Mac Jones, and Mac Jones is basically gone at this point. And after everything you've done to this poor guy to make a move like that, I think pretty much solidifies the fact that he's going to be out in New England within a year. So ultimately, I don't think that this happens. I think this is more so the Patriots doing some due diligence on him. But again, very interesting that this is one of the last players they decided to meet with before the end of the draft process. We're a week away from the official draft. So, like I said, overall, think it's more due diligence. They haven't met with a lot of these first round quarterbacks also. I think it does say something. And again, with rumors going around that he could fall, Will Levis is the most likely quarterback out of these top 4 or 5 quarterbacks that is most likely to be there at 14 for the Patriots. So I think there is something to say about it. What are your guys' thoughts though on Will Levis? Let me know in the comment section below. Should the Patriots grab him? Should they not grab him? I want to hear your thoughts. Like always, though, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I appreciate you guys for watching. And never forget,